And so if you're running a business of any size, one of your main goals should be to increase the value of that business with everything you do. Even if you never want to sell, building to sell is how you would create a massively profitable and healthy business that keeps growing no matter what. And so today we're going to show you the simple formula to increase the value of your e-commerce business. And this is based on almost 20 years of experience working with some of the top direct-to-consumer e-commerce brands in the world at Metacake, which is where we consult with those type of brands every single day. And also being part of dozens of valuations and acquisitions of e-commerce businesses over that period of time as well through Capital. And so based on that, we've created these 3 parts. Let's jump in. No matter what the size of your company, whether you're in the hundreds of millions or you're just starting, the way you increase the value is actually very simple and the same. As I've often mentioned, any business is simply a money multiplication machine, right? So the job of the business is to take money in, that's investment, and then to make more of that money on the other side, that's returns. It's just that simple. That's the only reason that business exists. If it's not doing that, then it's not functioning as a healthy business and it will go out of business. Now, unfortunately, this idea has been clouded by companies that take money in, produce negative returns, but they produce high revenues, so headlines, and then they're praised as being very successful. And this may exist on Wall Street in publicly traded companies. This may exist in the venture capital world, in companies like Casper Mattress and WeWork, and some of these companies are companies with negative revenues, but that doesn't work in the real world. And eventually that falls apart. And so if you want a healthy business, a valuable business, then you need a business that creates exponentially increasing profits over time. And so that old system is broken, or that other system is broken, and it won't last. And if you follow the tactics, and this is the key, because most businesses see that and they follow those same tactics and they get those same results, which is negative profits, but they don't have Wall Street or venture capital backing them, and they fail. And we call that growth at all cost, and it's a very unhealthy, bad mindset. Here at Metacake, we want healthy growth. We want sustainable growth. We want profitable growth. And by the way, if that's what you want, we actually have a challenge going on right now. It's a 90-day challenge for creating healthy growth in your e-commerce business. It's at a very crazy price, and you can get to it below, and you can jump to that if you'd like to. But if you want to increase the value of your company, it starts right here. We're starting this series on how to increase the value of your company. And so how do you increase the value of your e-commerce business? The simple answer is you increase the value by generating profits that exponentially increase in size and likelihood as time goes on. All right, so we're gonna break that down. How do we actually do it? The good news is there's only 3 simple parts to increasing your e-commerce business value. So let's jump in. Number 1, grow your revenue. Number 2, reduce your costs. And number 3, increase the future consistency and likelihood of success of your business. The key is that all 3 of those things have to be done at the same time. They're in tension with each other. Otherwise, you get really unhealthy companies. So for example, if all you do is grow your revenue, then you operate at a loss, or you might operate at a loss, you don't know, and you'll likely go out of business. And that's what companies like Casper Mattress do. And that's what the headlines like, but unfortunately the bank account does not like. If all you do is reduce your costs, if that's your sole focus, then you're basically in for a slow death, right? Eventually you're gonna have that scarcity is just gonna put out the flame of your business, and there's not gonna be any energy for growth. If all you do is work on the future, then you're just in speculation, and that's super high risk, and essentially, what maybe venture funding would be interested in, but it is not the way to building a profitable, valuable business. And if you're focused on revenue and costs, then you're susceptible to being a fad, like a flash in the pan, because you're not looking at the future at all, and all you care about is maximizing profit right now, today. And so any mixture of those 3, that's not all 3, is not healthy and will not get your valuation to go up. And so let's go through each part in brief, and then we'll link to guides that actually go deeper on each one of these individually. So part 1, grow your revenue. This is where almost everyone focuses. So this is one that everyone knows about. It's the glamorous headlines. It's the, we made $10 million in 3 years and 3,000% growth or 300%, whatever. Those are all great things. It's growing your revenue, but it's only one part. It's easy if you're not worried about profit, but how can you grow your revenue in healthy ways where you worry about profit, where you're concerned about the other 2 areas? Well, there are only 3 ways to grow your revenue, period. and we'll show you healthy ways to do that. Number one, raise your prices. Now, this is not average order value. This is what you charge for the products that you sell. Number two, acquire more customers efficiently. All right, this is bringing in new customers, making more and more new sales. And number three is sell more to current customers. And this is also known as lifetime value, which we've talked quite a bit about. All right, so those are the only three ways to grow revenue. And we'll actually dig deeper into how to do that in really healthy ways without being out of whack in other guides that I'll link to below here. But those are the only three ways to grow revenue. That's part one. Grow your revenue. Part two, reduce your costs. And so no one really likes this one because it's not fun, but it's part of running a business and it can be fun. Key here is that you have to have the mindset of abundance with a strong awareness of profit and costs to build a successful business. So if you step into scarcity, and you're in that mindset where cost cutting is all that you do and being a cheapskate is your number one go-to every day, then you're just not going to survive long term. Your business is going to run out of fuel. People are not going to want to work with you. You might make some profits. You might make a nice small little business, but you will not find long-term momentum because you're starving the fuel, which is expenses. Expenses are the fuel of business. You just have to be efficient with those. And so typically the largest expenses in any e-commerce business, aside from HR, are these three things: your marketing budget, inventory, and shipping. And so your business may have a slightly different makeup, but ultimately you have to find efficiencies in these three areas. You can't just reduce them and kill them because you can't stop marketing. That's the lifeblood of your business. You can't not buy product, and you can't make cheap products that don't work, and you can't skimp on poor shipping that's slow and gets there broken and has a really bad unboxing experience. Like, you can't do that if you're going to be successful, but you do have to be efficient with these things. And so you have to reduce these in ways that don't stunt your growth, that don't hurt your long-term vision. And that means finding efficiencies within them. And we actually dig into how to do that in healthy ways so that you balance these three parts, right? Reducing costs along with future and revenue. We dig into that in other guides that I will link to below. Part three, increase future consistency. And so high revenue and low cost businesses produce great profits, which is the basis for increasing valuation. But the last key to getting the highest valuation of your e-commerce business, to making a valuable business, is having a high multiple. And I'm not going to go into all the different multiples here, but they change based on the industry you're in, the types of products that you sell, the history of your business, the macroeconomic environment. There's a lot of things that go into multiples, but essentially your profit multiple depends on your future likelihood of success. And how likely is it that your revenue will increase exponentially into the future, that your costs will decrease exponentially into the future, and that your profits will increase exponentially into the future? What is that likelihood? That is how you choose the multiple. It's all about future. So what I mean is, if your costs will continue to go down, your revenues continue to go up, your multiple will increase. And therefore, to find ways for those two metrics, revenue and expenses, to continue to improve far into the future, we need to focus on what the future looks like. What is our strategy for the future? And so obviously there's no guarantee of the future, but there are three primary ways that you can increase your future potential. They are: number one, be a solution brand and not just a product brand. People buy products, but they really buy solutions. And you have to be aware of that. Your entire brand has to be oriented around this. Number two, build for tomorrow. And so you have to be aware that you're running two businesses. You're running today's business and tomorrow's business. And if you're not thinking about tomorrow's business, then you're decreasing the chance that you're going to be successful into the future. And number three, diversify your marketing and sales channels. Marketing and sales channels are the lifeblood. That's where all of the new customers and sales and acquisitions come through your business. These should be protected. In most businesses, most e-commerce businesses, they're 80+% in only one channel. And so I'll ask you this, like, where do most of your sales come from? Are they through Amazon? Are they through Facebook? Does most of your marketing, new customers, come through Facebook ads or social or something like that? For most people, the answer is yes. And if that's true, your business is ripe for being disrupted and has a lower probability of success into the future. The way you increase that is by diversifying those, so that no matter what happens in the future, if Facebook gets shut down, if Facebook shuts you down, it does not affect your business in a way that is dramatic. That is the goal. And so there may even be more things that increase your future certainty in your business based on your unique business. If you'd like to dig deeper into how to do this, we actually have a guide on how to increase the future consistency of your business business, which I will link to as well. And so those are the 3 parts to increasing your e-commerce business value. It's actually really simple, but walking it out is the hard part. And hopefully this helps to demystify the idea of increasing your e-commerce valuation a little bit. And if you'd like to dig deeper into each of those parts, I will link to deep dives into each one of those 3 parts below. But ultimately, it takes a mindset shift. You need to be an owner that can cut through the headlines and the glamour and through the growth hacking smoke, which actually isn't easy all the time. But if you're aware of it, it is. And so if you'd like to actually implement a healthy growth strategy that leads to profit and increased value in your e-commerce business, then you need to take our Healthy Growth 90-day challenge. We're actually running it for a limited time at a crazy low price, and it'll be linked below, and it'll walk you through day by day tactics on how to actually do this. Now, if you're a 6 to 9 figure brand that would like to work with us to increase your growth and your value, go to metacake.com and we would love to help. Thanks, and never stop growing.